Hey, I'm Sam Clark with Crimson Education, and today on Ask Sam Anything, I am going to continue answering a question that I've now been answering across 3 videos, which is, what is my favorite Common App essay topic? In our Big Questions series, which you can watch at the link below, I've gone to over 40 colleges, talked to 400 students, and asked them, what did you write about for your Common App essay to get into the school that you're at now? And in previous episodes of this, I've talked about Common App essays from Harvard, Princeton, and Cornell, from Stanford, UC Berkeley, and UCLA, and from Pomona, USC, and Caltech. Today, we're hopping back to the Ivy League, and I'm gonna talk about UPenn, Dartmouth, and Brown. I totally remembered. UPenn, Dartmouth, and Brown. Let's do it. UPenn, University of Pennsylvania, was one of my favorite schools to ask big questions at. We did it on Locust Walk, which is their long sort of walkway in the middle of campus, which has both academic buildings, fraternities and sororities, dorms, and more. It's hustling, it's bustling, it's very, very exciting. A couple of my favorite topics that we heard from students there. One, I'm gonna do a direct quote on this because he phrased it so well. A student said that he wrote about asking questions you know you'll never get an answer to in a religious framework. I thought that was very cool. He talked about, in his essay, sort of the importance of asking those questions that you will never get an answer to, and that's sort of part of the basis of his religion and thinking about big questions, no pun intended, related to the series, within that religious framework. Literally within the same group of students, another student had a very, very different Common App essay topic, which was talking about peeing himself on national television while on Martha Stewart's show. Twice. Apparently he peed himself on Martha Stewart's television show 2 times. Apparently she noticed. And understandably, as a little kid, that was a very formative experience for him. So I think that shows a nice big contrast at UPenn. You can write about grand philosophical questions related to religion. You can also talk about embarrassing yourself a lot. Both work. They both did work. They both got into UPenn. Those are my favorite ones from UPenn. Let's talk about Brown University. Brown, we got some really, really interesting ones. Sometimes just one-word answers. One girl said she wrote about, quote, a frog. I asked her to elaborate. She said she didn't remember. She wrote about a frog. Same thing with another student. She said she wrote about pottery. So you can write about pottery. You can write about a frog. In contrast, another student talked about the fact that they love heights and they've been climbing things of various nature their whole life. Trees, rock formations, etc. The student loves climbing and used loving climbing and loving heights as a way of sort of talking about life in general, their goals, etc. I think it's a cool way of tying together a potentially rare hobby to the rest of your life and your philosophy about life. Another student talked to me about how he wrote about mixed communities and how his identity that he previously thought of as a hindrance was actually an asset. So I think that can be a really big thing, especially if you're talking about identity, community, family, anything like that, talking about potentially a major mental shift that you've had or a different way of looking at the world, a different lens through which you look at the world, and the moment when that shift happens, I think makes for a very, very impactful essay. Finally, Dartmouth. We did big questions at Dartmouth College one time and got a pretty big range of topics there. One student talked about rebuilding an old car. Another student talked about their passion for aviation. Another student talked about something a little bit more difficult. She talked about her experience with anorexia. And then finally, another student talked about hardship and used that to apply to her current interests. She talked about how close she was with her grandmother, watching the struggle of watching her grandmother struggle with cancer and how that pushed her to go into medicine. So that's 3 more schools, 3 Ivy Leagues, incredibly smart students who wrote about a huge, huge range of topics. Everything from peeing yourself, to fixing cars, to rock climbing, to hardship. There's so much that you can write about to get into schools like UPenn, Brown, Dartmouth, and so many more. I'm gonna do a few more of these videos to unpack my experience talking with students and their stories at all these universities all around the world. So like this video, subscribe, click that little bell icon next to the subscribe button so you get a notification when we post these videos. And if you want a little bit of assistance or someone to talk to about your own ideas for your Common App essay, or even if you're a step before that and you're thinking about what school should I apply to, what should I be doing now to prepare for the college application process, you can click the link below to connect up with some academic experts at Crimson Education who will chat with you for free about it. It's a great opportunity. Do it. I'm Sam Clark with Crimson Education, and I'll catch you next time.